All right, today, Bucky's here again. I just wanted to talk to you, really just break this thing down in three options. A lot of people want to sell their property fast. They don't know what to do. Should they list it with a real estate agent? Should they list it by themselves? So today I just wanted to talk about three options that really it boils down to. And let's kind of discuss those and break those down here, if that sounds good today. So what are your three options for the future of your home? The number one option most people think of is commission a real estate agent. So this option that this is the option most homeowners think of first when it's time to sell. It's been the traditional selling method for decades. Since real estate agents know the local market and have direct access to the MLS, the multiple listing service, many homeowners put their trust to them to handle the sale of their house. But here's the breakdown of the steps that are involved to work with a real estate agent to sell their home. Number one, before placing your home on the real estate market, you'll need to make any necessary improvements or fixes to your home. For example, replace broken windows, old toilets, replace broken fixtures, any cracks or holes in the walls, remove any visible mold on tubs or showers, replace any old carpet or tile, paint the walls, replace old gutters, remove just general clutter from your home, and place many things into temporary storage. Also, you have to maintain and keep a clean home during the showings. All those things take time, and oftentimes it takes money that people are willing to put in their home. So who wants to fix up their home before they sell it, right? This can sometimes add unexpected out-of-pocket costs. Those are extra expenses. Two, contact a local agent and consult with him or her regarding the details of your home in order to come up with a listing price or an asking price, whatever you want to call it. Step three, you have to sign a listing agreement along with your agent. This grants them exclusive rights to sell your property during that time period. Okay, so sometimes it's 3 months, sometimes it's 6 months. Most generally, it's 3 months. So even if somebody else wants to buy your property during that time, they have to go through your agent. So it's locked down, in other words, to this listing agent. Number four, the agent lists your property on the MLS, does a little marketing for the listing, and hosts buyers at your home for showing. Again, the MLS is the multiple listing services, what all the real estate agents use. They put all their properties on there, it gets broadcasted out there. A lot of times it's syndicated to Zillow over here, so you can see these are properties that are on the MLS. They're listed with real estate agents. Number five, if a buyer shows interest in your property, real estate agent will take care of all the necessary paperwork, and they'll negotiate with the buyers or their agent. Okay, your agent then receives his or her commission and selling fees from the purchase of the home. Keep that in mind that these fees aren't small. They usually range typically 6%, right, of the total purchase price of your home. So let's talk about the cost. The cost associated with letting a real estate agent handle your listing can vary. Typically, they're 3 to 6%. 6% is pretty standard. It's also important to mention that both selling and buying agent can take a fee. Okay, that means typically they call them sides in real estate. How many sides did you get this year? So it's a realtor sells the property and finds a buyer. So if he lists the property and finds a buyer, that's a double quote. So that's a double double side, meaning that they get the full 6%. Most typically what happens, a listing agent isn't the person that brings the buyer. So they typically only get 3%. The other agent that brings the buyer gets the other 3%. Okay. So for example, if you sell your property for $300,000, you're going to be paying $18,000 in commissions to that agent. Another downfall is the timeline, right? The average time it takes to sell a home using the traditional agent method is 6 months. You may say, oh, I put my house on the market. My friend put the house on the market and it sold within days. Yes, they had an offer in writing that sold in days. But what happens after that has to go through the traditional process of being vetted out by the mortgage company or the lender. It has to go through their whole process. Inspections have to be made, appraisals have to be done, all those items delay the actual close date. So just because you sold the property in 3 days once it was listed, doesn't mean it's sold. It's sold on the day of closing. So the benefits, there's no doubt that real estate agents know everything there is to know about the local market. And they are the ones that have direct access to the MLS, the multiple listing service. So this is provided by a group of real estate brokers and is designed to expose listings to a wide pool of retail buyers. Okay? Real estate agents also market the listing, show the property when necessary, and put all the documents needed to close on the property. So those are the benefits, right? So you don't have to market your property. You don't have to worry about the contract. You don't have to coordinate all the closing, all those different things. Okay. And then you get exposure to the MLS, which puts it out there in the market for all agents to see and run reports on to hand to their potential buyers. So what are the biggest drawbacks of commission a real estate agent? The biggest disadvantage of working with a real estate agent when selling your home is that it can be rather expensive, right? As we mentioned, $300,000 would cost you $18,000 in commission. So as mentioned, you can rack up a big fee in commissions just because that's the norm, right? Not to mention it can take time to sell your home by using a real estate agent. Remember the average home takes 6 months to close. If you decide to go this route, expect to wait at least a few months to find a buyer because it'll take time for an agent to assess the property, market it, schedule showings. That potential buyer will want to come back a couple different times, probably 3 times, wants to look at it, wants to confirm what they like, and then a final walkthrough. Once a buyer is interested in the property, it can take weeks for the agent to receive the final word on their financing. And these offers sometimes even fall through completely, which is so disappointing because your property's been tied up, then it gets back on the list, on the MLS, and everybody's like, what happened to the property? What went wrong? Most generally people are thinking something was found on the property that couldn't clear through the financing. It's also very common for buyers and their agents to request that the seller pay for a portion of the closing costs. What's that mean? More money out of the equity that you had in your property. These costs plus the fees for the agents can result in a hefty final bill for you as the homeowner. And don't forget the upfront repairs that are expensive and necessary to improve your property before putting it on the market. So who should consider working with an agent? Sometimes we refer owners of properties to an agent. You should only consider working with an agent if you have by no means are in any hurry to sell your property and have little wiggle room to cover the costs. The option also for homeowners who are looking to get full market value, it takes time to find the right buyer. Okay. So let's look at option 2. Okay. What would be a good option 2? Often homeowners will try the route of for sale by owner, or it's called FSBO. FSBO stands for sell by owner. Over the past decade or so, the for sale by owner method has grown in popularity, right? There's the internet, you can put properties out there. There's Zillow over here where you can list your property and get a lot of exposure that way. A lot of people are using Zillow to find properties or search properties or see what their home's worth, all those things. And Zillow gives a little estimate, a Zestimate, they call it. So this is due to the fact that the internet is giving away all these different home or these websites where you can list them. You can list them on Craigslist, and it's very quickly and easy to put it out there. Used to you'd have to put a little ad in the classified, maybe put a picture. I've done a few of those back in the day before the internet really blew up. So we talked about forsalebywowner.com, Craigslist, Zillow. There's also many others that you can put your property on for sale by owner. So homeowners can choose to sell their home themselves. They can also have an affordable for sale by owner sign in their front yard, allowing them to market their own listing. If you're familiar with the real estate process and consider yourself an effective marketer, this might seem like the best choice for you. These are the steps that typically are involved when you choose the for sale by owner option. Okay, so keep this in mind. So if you choose to try to sell it for sale by owner, these are some of the steps that you'll have to go through. Before placing your home on the real estate market, you'll need to make any necessary improvements or fixes in your home. Doesn't change. Option one, option two, you're going to have to fix up the stuff that's broken. And we all have broken things on our homes that we've neglected just because we don't have to, right? We're in the home. Unless you're an ADD type that, everything is completely fixed all the time. But there'll still be things that inspectors will find, those things that will need to be fixed. And you may not even know that they need to be fixed. Step two, when you're trying to sell this for sale by owner, you'll need to determine the value of your property. How do you know how much your property is worth? You're going to go onto Zillow and get a Zestimate. So this can be difficult if you're not aware of the market. Once again, the internet, it's fairly easy to research comps, meaning comparable properties in the area with current market rates. Okay, so you can go in here to Zillow. It even shows you associated properties that are sold recently. And also here in Tulsa County, you can go in there and get comparable solds inside the Tulsa County real estate property search, which is really cool. It's really best if you're trying to for sale by owner is to have your home appraised, because you're going to be selling this to an end buyer. They're going to have an appraisal done, and it's going to really show you where your property lands. Okay? Meaning that what's the home worth. So that appraiser will come out. It can cost you $250, $500 depending on the appraisal. You can also look at consulting with a real estate agent to get his or her opinion of the worth. Some people will do that, like, oh, we're just going to go the route of selling it for ourselves. They'll reach out to a friend that's a real estate agent, and they'll have them say, what do you think it's worth? And they'll spend all this time doing that, and then they'll try to sell it on their own, and then they'll fall back to selling it with a real estate agent. Key thing, everybody likes photos. Speaking of photos, look at some of these. The nicer the photo, the more looks you get. So you don't have a nice camera and you don't know how to take nice photos of properties, then you're going to want to hire a professional photographer, okay? Because you want to get this property sold. Let's take a look at some of these pictures. Let's find some nice pictures. That's a very clean picture. Look at that. So these are professional pictures. You can tell the difference, and you just feel like you're inside that home. This is nice pictures. Also, it's a very well staged home, okay? So you should take Photos of your home, record all the data about your property, such as the square footage. You can look that up on the Tulsa County website if you're in Tulsa County, and then you can create your online listing. Okay. This time, homeowners should also put a for sale by owner sign in the front yard to start attracting buyers who might be looking in that area. The next step associated with for sale by owner process is marketing your listing. Besides publishing your listing on the community real estate websites like Zillow, for sale by owner, Craigslist, many others that are out there, you could look at getting into the local newspapers I mentioned, or putting together an open house event. Individuals are also able to pay a flat fee in order to list their property on the MLS services without having to do the work with a real estate agent. Okay, so saving those fees. You'll then have to handle the showing yourself, along with all the paperwork that's needed to sell your home when it's time to close. You'll be the one that's presenting the final purchase price and handling that. So what are the costs associated with for sale by owner? The only costs associated with your selling your home as a homeowner are the fees needed to list your property, market your property, those expenses that go into it. And some agents will bring buyers to see their house, and you can pay those agents a fee for them to bring you a buyer. All these things can add up. Also, you need to keep in mind that you'll be likely asked by the buyer to pay at least a portion of the closing costs. So there's the closing costs, there's the expenses, and also sometimes a referral fee. So what's the timeline? The amount of time that it takes to sell your property on your own will depend on your marketing efforts and how competitive the asking price is. Generally, for sale by owners, homes stay on the market much longer than those that are listed with a real estate agent. So you think you're going to take the short route, and it really becomes a long route because they're not able to reach all the buyers in the large pool at once. When you take all this into consideration, it usually takes 6 months to a year to sell your home on your own. It's a long time. I mean, there's always ones out there that sell faster, that sell sooner, that take longer, but on average, it's between 6 and 12 months to sell property on your own. So what are the benefits? The advantage of selling your property yourself is that you get to move more money into your pocket, right? Because you don't have to distribute the 6% to real estate agents. And you have full control of the listing, and you retain full responsibility of the entire selling process. So what are some of the drawbacks? The downside, that is, selling a home on your own isn't always the easy route. It's common for homeowners to become very overwhelmed or frustrated when selling their home due to all the paperwork that's involved, the appraisal process, and having to deal with buyers as well as their agents. And another disadvantage of going this route is the amount of time it could take to sell your home. So who should consider working with a real estate agent? You're really the only one that should consider putting your house on the market for sale by owner. If you're familiar with the buying and selling real estate, you have time to put in and wait for a buyer to come along, then this might be the best option for you. Okay. So if you're wanting to sell it for sale by owner, you have to have the time, the marketing engines, the ability to take pictures, and the patience to wait and to have your home selling ready for months and months and months. There is a third option that we help homeowners with, and this is selling it to a company like mine. Top dollar home offer. Another popular selling solution is to work with an investor. Okay. We specialize in buying properties in the area. Okay? We buy homes, we fix them up, and we sell them, or we keep them as rental properties. We have most flexibility. And here's a look at just kind of the standard process of selling your home to an investor. Okay. So the first thing you do is you contact an investor in your community. They provide specifics regarding your property, as well as the situation that you're in. Okay. As an investor, we'll assess the property. We'll have our own appraisal come out and look at it in order to determine if there are any repairs that need to be made. This also allows our company to come up with a purchase price that's fair for both properties. Right. We look at properties every day. So we do our own in-house appraisals and we understand what the properties are worth. Okay, so basically the seller reviews the offer and decides if they will accept it or not. If he or she accepts our offer, we will close out a title company, make all the necessary paperwork, we'll take care of all that. Okay, and as our real estate investment company, we purchase properties with cold hard cash, so closing can be quick and easy. So what does all this mean, right? The third option really just gives you the most peace of mind. We'll come in, we'll show you how to get top dollar out of your home. We'll provide you 3 options and you can pick the one that best fits your situation. Out of those 3 options, you're going to put the most money in your pocket, the quickest and fastest, with the least amount of work, right? Hit the easy button. So the timelines is we can close fast. We can pay all cash. We can help you out of your situation, whether it's no equity, whether you're facing divorce, whether you're facing job transfers. Many of those different situations pulls you out of your property fast and you need to do something with it. Okay. So what are the drawbacks? Okay. Of selling it to our company. Those are really hard to come up with. The biggest drawback would be that sometimes you could get a little bit more money out of the property with a real estate agent. But after you calculate all those fees, the amount of money that you invested, the risk goes up. So if you're willing to risk a higher return, then maybe the listing of the real estate option is your best option. But anyway, give us a call. We will break it down for you. Fill out the form on our website. Come out. We'll do a 30-minute review and offer and leave you with 3 options that day.